call the county commissioner meeting to order, please.
Commissioner Stottlemyre,
Present.
Commissioner Waymire,
Present.
Chair Harris,
Yeah, present.
Vice Chair Metter,
Present.
and Commissioner Dickinson.
Present.
Have pledged allegiance, may it stay standing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We bow our heads for prayer. Lord, we humbly come before you, recognizing that you're the creator of the universe. We ask, Lord, that you would lead us and guide us so that we may serve one another, serve this community, and serve you. In Jesus' name we ask, amen.
Thank you. Any correspondence? Public comment? On the consent agenda, we have considered the approval of the meetings on February 26th. Consider the approval claim vouchers, tax change orders, $458,996.03. Consider the approval payroll period of January 21st, 25 to February 20th, 25. Consider approving the 2025 free dump days and authorize the distribution of notification letters with the designated dates. Approval.
Motion to approve. Second.
Commissioner Stottlemyre,
Yes.
Commissioner Waymire,
Yes.
Commissioner Metter,
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson,
Yes.
and Chair Harris.
Yes. Items of business, acceptance and dedication of the final plat, Hickory Ridge. Pat.
Good morning, Commission. The location we'll be speaking on is commonly known as 1803 Vermont, located roughly 2 miles south of Rantoul. This is a final plat for 4 parcels on a 40-acre single parcel at this point. Northeast corner of the intersection of Vermont and Hamilton Terrace. At the time of the rezoning, we were originally going to split 2 40-acre plats into 8 separate parcels. However, we were to require the applicant to conduct a line of sight study for traffic control and safety purposes. They then changed the entire plat into only 4 on the southern portion of that 80 in order to kind of navigate the dangerous entrances. And so we reduced it from 6 or 8 plats to 4, and we're only utilizing the southern 40 on this plat specifically. Jeff and I did go to double check that we would be able to put new entrances in the area of all safe locations so that they would have the proper sight distances and distances between each and every individual entrance. You'll have 2 that come off of Hamilton Terrace and 2 that'll come off of Vermont. The northern 40 has individually done a lot split, which was allowed by proxy of we've already done the rezoning. Those entrances will also meet, they're at the base of the 2 hills, and therefore they will have enough time and safe methods of getting in and out for entrance and egress. At that point, we recommend approval, and as does the Planning Commission.
Any questions for Pat?
Anybody here that on this application?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. Okay, I guess I'll say something because this is in my district. I do know the property very well. And I know the discussion was when it come through before about the northern lots and the entranceways. And I still don't like the idea of coming off on there and when they could come up here on Hamilton and put an entrance road in there and go to all of them if they wanted to. I'm not saying they want to. I'm saying they could if they wanted to. And another thing, happened to me years ago. I had a place up here by Wellsville. Some people contacted me. Somebody's drilling a well in their front yard, an oil well. And so this brings it back to me. This is all laid out in oil wells in this subdivision. And there's nothing to say that guy can't, or people can't, put one in their front yard once they put a house in there if they want to. There's nothing, am I right?
There's nothing that the county can say or do about it.
That's what I mean.
Right,
And
absolutely.
that's why, it always brings it back around to me. And I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong, it's just, kind of the ethical part of the deal. And I didn't like the idea of splitting that pond. And they'd only had to move the property line 20 feet and got it out of that pond. And plus that it got away from the other pond that's down in the next one. I mean, it's just barely off the pond. And then they're legally on that 40 acres down there. And it is not landlocked. My opinion is, it is, because you can't, they talk about these entrances. It would cost more than the cost of the 80 acres to put entrances.
The two northern portions on that northern, I don't know how they're gonna do it,
I mean,
we
it's
discussed that
all,
yesterday in depth.
it's all legal. I mean, it's got road frontage. It's just 30 feet
It's a cliff.
high.
It's basically a cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my
Be aware.
main complaint. Like I said, I have nothing against dividing this up. I have nothing against putting more houses in there. I just, it just has if it didn't have those two issues, it wouldn't bother me at all, I guess. And the water district said that they wouldn't even attempt to go up off the road. They'd come clear up here to Hamilton, come down, and then go in to feed all those properties. They wouldn't even try it, which that's their deal, I don't know who's paying all that cost, but that's my only thing. They're doing everything by the book. You just don't like the idea part of it.
I think if they move that one line off that pond, then it makes it, you can't do 1 to 4. It makes it too skinny. So you gotta do what you gotta do with what you got.
Possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Looks like where you're putting, so there's just one entrance onto Vermont. Looking at the topography, it looks like it's pretty flat right there.
Yes, it is. Pat's absolutely right, though. The two there to the north, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we did them we put those entrances on that west side, and it was extremely expensive, and it's a lot of material, and it's probably worse on this east side. Pipes are gonna have to be probably twice as long to get 30 foot on a flat top.
Yeah.
Because of the slope.
That's on the portion that it's essentially landlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hamilton is flat though, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm in Vermont, the section where you're putting the two driveways combined into one road
They're
entrance.
still gonna have to do some work, but there's
Just looking at the topography, it's the flattest, yeah. And then immediately adjacent,
Yes, sir.
there's entrances too, and
It'll be the two farthest north that'll have the issue.
Do I hear a motion?
And one more thing I didn't mention, and I know it's not pertinent to what we're doing, but you're gonna play heck running lateral line in that property too for sewer line, with all the electric lines and the oil line that run all over the thing, so that's it.
I will make a motion to accept the dedication of rights of way and easements and authorize the chairman to endorse the final plat of Hickory Road located in, I'm not going to read it all, but as noted in our agenda.
I'll second it. Commissioner Waymire,
yes.
Commissioner Metter,
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Stottlemyre,
No.
and Chair Harris.
Yes. Discussion to consider approval purchasing a new postage machine for Marilyn Stevenson, Frank County Treasurer. Good morning.
Commissioners, Okay, I believe that when we did our budget last year, we talked about gonna have to replace the postage machine. It is, the one we currently have is no longer compliant with the USPS. So what we're wanting to do, actually downsizing, because we don't have the amount of postage that we used to have to run through there. It would be a total cost of $8,455.04 to purchase it. Quarterly meter rental would be $219.87, and an annual agreement, would be $928 for, it would update our postage every time the post office increases it. It would automatically do that, and any kind of service calls or anything like that. Overall, by purchasing versus leasing, we would be saving $1,354.
And talking with you, Marilyn, you indicated you were okay using your treasurer's technology fund to
Yes.
pay these costs, correct?
Absolutely.
That fund has a balance in excess of 50 grand currently, so we feel
Yeah.
it could absorb this.
Absolutely. Then it would be no tax dollars paying for it,
How
so.
long did you have that, old machine, you have any idea when it was purchased?
Pardon?
How long we've had the old machine?
It was here when I started in 2017,
Okay, so
so,
we expected to,
yeah. And we would still be using the other machine if it was compliant, but the post office has switched to being IMI compliant versus IBI compliant. It's just the tracking and everything that they're able to do now through the post office, so.
in the service level agreement we would have whether we rented or bought?
We would still want to do that, yeah.
Okay.
Because recently they've been increasing postage about 4 times a year, and if we didn't have this agreement, it would be $600 every time we had to do an update to increase the postage on it, so it would make sense to go ahead and just do that.
Any other questions? Do you hear a motion?
I'll make a motion. I gotta mail bills.
Yeah, right.
Can't pay them if you don't mail them. Second?
Commissioner Metter,
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Waymire, Chair Harris.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Consider approval of the invoice from Evergy on the Texas Road Bridge project.
Good morning. This is the second time I've come in front of you guys to talk about some utility issues. And I know the first time that we discussed this, I was asked if there was any other utility issues there. We did look through our archives and found nothing at the time. This has been a discovery by Evergy that after they've looked in their files and records, we were able to pull up, not on the computers, but on the archives. In 1947, they obtained a right-of-way for this location. So I have spoken several times with Jeff Pierce, and I want to thank Dakota Frack for working with us a little bit. The initial cost on this was to relocate their power poles was $46,643.54. I was able, through communication with those two, to negotiate it down approximately $12,000. We will be doing the same thing with them along with the road about brush removal to try to reduce our costs as we are with the phone company or with the water district. And it's a hidden cost, but I think in order to move forward, I think it's just what we have to do. So I'm asking that the county be willing to to pay Evergy in the amount of $43,651.34 to relocate the existing structure off the construction, outside the construction limitations.
Where we at on the bid process
The bid process.
for the bridge?
It's done. We're ready for letting. The letting on it is set to be in May. So we're just.
Okay,
got
that's what I was wondering.
Yes, it's all written up and completely finished. We're just waiting on the utilities to be relocated, and it's a done deal. They're just waiting on us to move it, Rod.
Okay,
Now, do we need to vote on the 43,000 or the 34,000?
34,
34.
34, okay.
651, 34 cents. Dare motion.
Make a motion to approve the payment of $34,651.34 to Evergy to relocate the power lines.
Second.
Second?
Dickinson? You want to vote for it?
Never mind. I'm sorry, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Staff reports.
Yeah, thanks, Rod. Couple quick things. Want to gauge the board's interest in starting up another tax sale. We finished our last one, it had been about a year ago. In September of 2024, the properties that have been delinquent since 2020 became eligible for tax sale. So those would primarily be the properties that we would be looking at. Maryland, her credit's already gotten me a list, and there's quite a few on there. As you know, we engage outside counsel for this. He's always done a very good job. He's very reasonable. He has indicated he would be on board. I would get you an official engagement letter to vote on it formally if there's interest, but I would recommend, especially in this climate moving forward, because we've had great success with these sales for the last several years now. Seeing nodding of heads. Okay. Well, I will advance it and we'll have something formally in front of you in due time. At one point, we talked about pictures. Photographer is willing and able on either March 12th or March 26th to come in after a meeting, take headshots if you want them, and/or take a group photo. Do one of those dates work for you?
26.
They're both Wednesdays.
What?
Both Wednesdays.
I believe that's
Yeah,
the case.
they are.
yes.
I didn't look, but
The 26 works
I'm
better for
good.
me.
Okay. Well,
If that works for everyone else.
Shoot for 26th.
okay. Okay, and then the last thing that I have, employee appreciation tomorrow, as you all know. So looking forward to having a good event out there. Hope to see you all there. Thanks, Rod.
Thank you. Back. Peggy? None.
I have one thing on the freed update letters.
Yep.
I put the east and west side of 59. So I do need to flip-flop those. Other than that, everything's still good to go.
I didn't want to steal your thunder. Don't you have an announcement to come make about a piece of equipment you got?
Oh, yeah.
I was letting you do it.
Our shredder has arrived. It is uncrated. It is put together. We went to plug it in yesterday, and the plug-in configuration does not match our box.
Oh, nice.
So I've got an electrician coming out today. We should get that taken care of.
Work. Maryland? Yeah.
Just briefly, we've had a skeleton crew out last night with the winds and the weather. And so I want to thank them for, we just had one truck basically working some of the bad spots, and they're out today doing that. Dust control, I spoke with Darby. The lettings, or the bid openings on that were last Friday. Kelly went to it. Scottwood was the only bid. And with Darby, we will be closing applications for dust control at the end of March. And they indicated they plan on putting first applications down the week of the 21st of April. So last year, I think it was 19 loads. Takes us a week or so. So end of April, everything goes, we should see dust control. That's all I've got.
Commissioners?
a couple things. Here a while back, I had the ECAM at one of our RC&D meetings, and we partner on several things that we do for them, and that we do. And we got into a deal that realized that they had taken most of their freezers out of their pantries around the 6 counties. So I worked with her and they did a grant, and they was able to get a grant to put new freezers in all their pantries across the 6 counties now. So that's the only reason I couldn't go to 2 or 3 of them, because they didn't have freezers to deliver meat, which we delivered 4,000 pounds this year around to those sites. And so anyhow, I'm glad to see that happen and help her get freezers. And Crystal's a real good person to work with. I did go to the Rand Tool meeting the other night. Several things they are doing. Talking about, had to run new water. They're opening up another one of their wells that closed down several years ago, and now they've reconfigured and laying new lines. And they got a neighbor out there to donate their easement, so they didn't have to run into a deal like we run into here. And appreciative the people allowed them to move that line over onto their property and probably cut their costs. That's a brand new fiber line that's through down there. So I can't imagine what it would have cost to do something like that. They're updating their website. They just did a 12-month plan on all the activities they got coming up for the city. They're talking about, everybody talks about, what can you do to make a little money? Well, down there where the trail runs right through the town, they're looking into putting in some electrical hookups for overnight camping down there on the trails. So they're not knowing what they'll run into, but that's something, one of the things they come up with. They even talked a little bit, this is very little bit, even talked about annexing Dotson into the city of Rantoul. And this subject did come up years ago when they wanted to go to commercial zoning, and the county wasn't really into one that we actually tried to get the city to annex them at that time. And I mean industrial. And they had commercial zoning, they just didn't have industrial zoning. So then the city decided not to, and now maybe they're going to revisit that. And them and Dotson has got along really well down there. Dotson donated a lot of money to the city to put their ball fields in the park. So it's a possibility. So that's all I got.
Cool. Brenda?
On Monday, I went to the Franklin County Food Policy Council meeting, and it was kind of nice to hear that a couple of the programs that they do received grants, which will help in purchasing food for everybody.
Diane?
I had the KAC board on Wednesday. This time of year, basically, it's all about what's going on in Topeka. Things that might or might not affect counties. On Thursday, I had hospital board meeting, and then a chamber coffee on Friday that introduced Brendan Johnson as the new CEO of Advent Health Ottawa. If you haven't had a chance to visit with him, do. I think he'll be a great addition to our community. That's all I got.
I have nothing to add. To hear a motion.
I'll make, second.
Goodbye.
Aye.